Western novels used to be one of the most popular genres of books, especially during the mid-1900s. But today, used bookstores may only have a few copies lying around. Your local library is probably the easiest place to find a wide variety of Western novels. So, what happened? Why did the Western novel go from the hottest thing on the shelves to collecting dust in the back room? Well, the answer might not be quite what you expect. Okay, reason number one, readers wanted more morally complex characters. Most Westerns follow a pretty similar pattern. You've got the bad guys, you've got the lady who needs saving, and then you've got the lone wolf main character who doesn't need anyone except his dog until he meets the lady who needs saving from the bad guys. And then the story commences from there. They pretty much all follow that same basic idea and structure. So audiences, after reading so many of those, they basically got tired of the same story being told repeatedly over and over again with different people. And so that's reason number one. Audiences, they wanted something different. They wanted a different story. They had heard that story. Now give us something else. Reason number two, the location of the frontier changed. From the early 1800s into the early and mid 1900s, the frontier in the United States, it gradually moved further and further west. First, it was, just getting, just to the areas that's Ohio, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky. That was the frontier. And then it moved to the west of the Mississippi. And then it moved to the Rocky Mountains. And then it moved to the Pacific coast. This gradual movement further and further west. The frontier, the American prairie and the mountains and the canyons, was a place of great danger and full of adventure, which led to stories that audiences scooped up like they were hot and ready donuts. But as the West began filling up with people, the frontier, over time, it wasn't so wild and untamed anymore. Right around the 1950s and the 1960s, the frontier changed from the mountains and the prairies of the United States to the moon and the stars in space. So, as the science fiction and space adventure genre of literature really took off, the Western genre began declining. So the second reason that the Western novel kind of disappeared was that the frontier, the place with all that danger and adventure, the location of the frontier itself changed from the American West to outer space. And then, reason number three, television both made and broke audiences' demand for Westerns. During the 1950s and 60s, American television was absolutely overrun with Westerns like Bonanza and Gunsmoke, as well as many, many others that a lot of you watching this could name. And these shows were immensely popular with American audiences. And the sale during this time, the sale of Western novels peaked. It exploded and peaked during this time. However, as time went on, changing demographics and rising audience interest in other genres like space led to a decline in Westerns in the late 60s and the 1970s. The Western novel market boomed because of television, but then it also very quickly disappeared when television pivoted away from the Western. So reason number three is television, the interest in Westerns exploded because of television shows, but then when television moved off of Westerns, it just as quickly disappeared from the Western. Change is a part of life. What's popular today may very well be collecting dust in some storage room 20 years from now. Western novels were not immune to this cycle, but the Westerns are still around, and they're still as exciting as ever. They just aren't as easy to find as they once were.